So let me ask you a question. What if the very thing that made you successful is now the one thing holding you back? Today, we're going to talk about something really crucial for every single one of us: having the courage to evolve, especially when your version of success has reached its expiration date. Oof, that one hits hard, doesn't it? We tend to think of success as this finish line, a permanent state of arrival. But the reality is, what got you here isn't going to get you to the next place. This idea really challenges us to see success not as a monument we build, but as a moving target we have to constantly adapt to. And that brings us to this paradox that so many high achievers run into: the success ceiling. It's that invisible point where your greatest strengths, your most reliable strategies, the very things that built your reputation, actually start to become walls that restrict your future growth. So how does this ceiling even form? Well, it happens in these subtle stages. First, you have success, and that success needs to comfort, right? You know what works. But then that comfort morphs into a deep attachment to those winning formulas. And finally, that attachment creates a powerful resistance to anything new. Now, the key thing to get here is that reinvention isn't about disrespecting your past wins. It's about respecting your future potential enough to break this cycle. Here's the thing you need to know: the need to evolve almost never shouts at you. It whispers. It's not some sudden crisis or a massive failure. It's usually just a series of subtle internal cues that tell you something needs to shift. So let's talk about what those whispers actually sound like. Do any of these feel familiar? Maybe your strategy is still working. The results are there. But that fire, that excitement you used to feel, it's gone. Or the numbers are steady, but you just feel like you've plateaued. You're going through the motions, operating on autopilot instead of with real intention. Or maybe it's just this quiet, nagging restlessness. If you feel any of this, you're not failing. That is evolution knocking at your door. We focus so much on the risk of making a change. But have you ever stopped to think about the risk of not changing? There's a hidden tax you pay for staying in your comfort zone, for stagnating. And it's a cost that quietly compounds over time. Let's break that down. When you're clinging to comfort, you're paying a huge tax on innovation because you're not experimenting. You're paying a tax on your own growth because you're not learning. And you're paying a tax on opportunity because you're too busy protecting what you already have. Embracing evolution, on the other hand, it feels all three. The real risk isn't trying something new, it's slowly becoming irrelevant by standing still. So how do we combat this? We have to shift from being reactive to being proactive. This is what I call the reinvention discipline. The most consistently successful people and leaders, they don't wait for a crisis to force them to change. They make evolution a regular, disciplined practice. It's all about evolving before you're forced to. And here's what that framework looks like. It's not a one-time thing. It's a cycle you're always in. First, you're constantly assessing what's changing around you. Second, you're identifying the skills that will matter tomorrow, not just today. Third, and yeah, this is the tough one, you have to consciously release the parts of your old identity that no longer serve you. And finally, you intentionally build anew. This is what strategic, disciplined growth really looks like. The biggest barrier to that third step, letting go of your old identity, is almost always ego. Your ego wants to protect your current image, your status as the expert. It loves being comfortable. But real reinvention, that requires humility. It's about making a choice to protect your future growth over protecting your current image. It's about having the courage to be a beginner again. All right, let's bring this all home and make it super practical. Because this isn't just theory, it's about action. This is your coaching moment. It's time to go from just understanding this stuff to actually doing something about it, starting this week. I want you to take a moment and really ask yourself this question. What version of success are you holding on to so tightly? Is it a job title, a strategy that used to be your secret weapon? Is it a self-image that, if you're being honest, you've probably outgrown? Naming it, that's always the first step. And once you've named it, I want you to take one small intentional step. Look, this isn't about quitting your job tomorrow. This is about tiny shifts. This week, learn one new thing that's a little outside your comfort zone. Test one different approach to a problem you always solve the same way. Or explore one skill that's next to your core expertise. Action is what creates clarity. Okay, now let's zoom out, because this whole conversation goes way beyond just your own journey. Real leadership, true leadership, isn't just about your personal evolution. It's about creating an environment where other people feel safe enough to evolve too. It's about shifting from personal growth to collective impact. And as you start to guide others, I want you to remember this powerful truth. Reinvention can feel scary. It can feel like you're throwing away everything you've worked so hard to build, but you're not. You are not starting from scratch. You're starting from a wealth of experience. Every lesson, every failure, every single win, it all becomes the foundation for whatever comes next. So, I'll leave you with this. At the end of the day, growth isn't just about how far you go. It's about how many people you take with you. Your impact is measured by the ripples you create. So my question for you is this: who are you enabling to evolve today?